Well, look who was just arrested after 5 acid attacks on innocent people in 84 minutes. A rise in acid attacks in London, England have shocked the community. It is something people ordinarily don't see in the developed and Western world. Police officers have now treated a 16-year-old boy in connection with several acid attacks in the city. On Thursday evening, authorities indicated one victim had sustained life-altering injuries. This victim was one of 4 who was attacked in a matter of 84 minutes in East London. The charges against the teenager are of grievous bodily harm as well as robbery. The same law enforcement officials noted in a statement that the first attack took place at 10:25 p.m. near Hackney Road. The series of events took place as the following. The perpetrator was driving a moped when a few other men pulled up on other mopeds. The few men threw the acid on the man's face and then quickly jetted away. They also stole the victim's moped. This male victim had to be transported to the hospital, but authorities said that his injuries were not being treated as life-changing or life-threatening. 40 minutes later, another victim was attacked near Shoreditch High Street. This was only half a mile away from where the first attack took place. The 2 perpetrators once again attacked another man by throwing acid on his face and then driving away. A mere 8 minutes later, a third call was received by law enforcement authorities. This was one of the worst attacks that took place against a 20-year-old man. His injuries were indicated to be life-changing and threatening. He too remained at the hospital. Jaff Shah, executive director of Acid Survivors Trust International, said the following about the rise in acid attacks. It's definitely a growing problem. Attacks in the UK tend to be men on men. Men make up around 2/3 of victims, which goes against the global pattern where the vast majority are women and girls. In the UK there aren't strict controls on the use of acid. 96% sulfuric acid can be purchased from hardware stores without any ID or a license. When there are controls around other weapons such as guns and knives, it becomes a weapon of choice. It's also much cheaper and there's no risk of being traced. You can buy in cash, and it's not an offense to carry it. A recent number are reported to be by gang members. The effects of acid attacks are twofold. The physical aspect is it causes enormous pain. The severity can vary, but they can result in extreme disfiguration and blindness. For example, they also leave very serious psychological scars, which can vary in different forms. Deep depression, anxiety, panic attacks. The recommendation we've made to government is that they need to introduce controls on sales of acid, age restrictions and licenses, and banning cash sales, and making it an offense to be caught carrying it. One reader named Steph Amanda commented, "The UK and London in particular have a large Pakistani and Bangladeshi population. Immigrants and children of immigrants from Muslim South Asia brought this practice over with them, and now other groups are seeing just how effective this vicious style of attack can be." And another noted, "What was Europe thinking inviting Islam to its streets? The last attack happened in almost the same manner as the other ones. This happened in Islington, North London, England. All these attacks took place between 8 and 12 minutes of each other. Police remain looking for eyewitnesses to the attacks that took place." Breitbart News reported the following about the incidents. Police are treating a series of acid attacks Thursday night across London as linked, and have arrested a 16-year-old male. At least one victim suffered life-changing injuries Thursday night in the apparent crime spree, which saw 5 attacks take place in 84 minutes in East London and Islington. The arrested teenager is being held on suspicion of grievous bodily harm and robbery. Police described the attacks in their statement, which revealed the first attack took place at 22:25 on the Hackney Road. Officers said the male victim had been on a moped when a pair of men on a second moped pulled up beside him. The men threw a corrosive substance into his face, before stealing his moped and riding away. When officers responded, they found that the man had sustained facial injuries, but they are not being treated as life-threatening or life-changing. The second attack took place 40 minutes later on Shoreditch High Street, a location just half a mile away. Once again, 2 men on a moped threw acid into the face of a man, who was taken to a hospital. 8 minutes after that, police received a third call after a man in his 20s had acid thrown in his face. The most serious of the attacks. A crime scene was set up at the location and the man is reported to have received life-changing injuries. Another 19 minutes later, police received a fourth call when another man on a moped had acid thrown in his face, with the attackers stealing his moped and again riding off. The final incident took place in Islington, North London, and took place another 12 minutes later when a man was reported to have had a corrosive substance thrown in his face by 2 males on a moped. London is seeing a sudden surge in acid attacks, with the 261 attacks in 2015 jumping to 458 in 2016. There have been over 120 attacks in London so far this year, with the frequency of the attacks leading to the city being dubbed the acid attack capital. Acid appears to be finding favor with gangs and individuals to settle disputes and launch attacks. As simple bleach products and drain unblocker is available cheaply in shops without checks and carrying it does not incur penalties, like knives do. Home Office Minister Sarah Newton told the BBC Friday that while the government was considering tighter restrictions on such materials, the fact they could be found in any kitchen cupboard made legislation difficult. These types of attacks are completely unacceptable and deserve to be punished accordingly. This type of behavior should never be tolerated and certainly not in the United States or Western Europe. Penal codes and legislation should be updated to punish the perpetrators accordingly. This is a travesty of justice for this to happen in the 21st century. Thanks for watching.